Okay, I think we are live over on YouTube. This is welcome everyone that is here. I have no idea how this works. We'll see how it goes. For those of you that do not know who I am ADHD Projects. I go by Ammon. I mostly am on TikTok, but I am branching out onto YouTube. We're going to see how this goes. This is my first live. As you can see that I'm here, I've got some like TikTok stuff up here. I'm actually going to go live over on TikTok. You will be able to see it here and debate with some whatever flat earthers happen to show up. We will see how this goes. Bear with me if the setup kind of moves around a little bit. I am still trying to figure out a good setup for doing both TikTok and YouTube. Let me know if it works or not. Other than that, I'm going to press go live over on TikTok. It looks like my mic is a little low there, so I'm going to try turning that up over there. Maybe I just need to be a little bit closer. We'll see how it goes. We'll get some feedback as we go. And we are live over on... that's awkward. Let's go ahead and do a thumbnail that I made for YouTube. And... okay. Wait. There we go. And go live. Sorry about that. I forgot that that was necessary in order to go live over on TikTok. Okay, so we should be live over on TikTok. At least it says we are. My mic is still really low over there. We will see how it comes. You should be able to see over, those of you on YouTube should be able to see the TikTok comment section as they come in. Welcome everyone over on TikTok. Oh, and let's... We're not going to invite anyone. Okay, and that changed things significantly. Let's see, settings. Come back to this layout. Okay. Okay, and we're back to the regular setup again. Welcome everyone coming in. It is Flat Earth Friday. I'm going to be doing some live debates here on TikTok. I'm also streaming to some other platforms. Look for the links in my bio for that. Other than that, if there's anyone that disagrees with the above, go ahead and request. The multi-box should be open. So if you are a flat earther or disagree with any of the above, go ahead and request, and we will get you up. Welcome everyone that is coming in. Okay, and those of you over on YouTube, it generally takes a few minutes for the flat earthers to start showing up. So this may be just a little bit of me talking for now until we can get some flat earthers in here. Those of you that are coming in, go ahead and like and share the live out. Even if you just do copy link, that helps a lot getting the live out there. Too poor instead of too scared is my only argument. Okay. But those of you that are coming in, go ahead, like the live and share it out. We are at 390. Go ahead and like it. That pushes out to the algorithm, getting some flat earthers in here. I hope that we can get some good conversations today. I wanted to join about an hour and a half ago, but getting things set up took a little bit longer than I thought that it was going to. So I hope that we can get some good flat earthers in here soon. The Earth is a square. Do you have any evidence of that it is a square? Because, I mean, I measure it round. And who's to say that it's not Velociraptor shape? All right, welcome those of you that are coming in. Go ahead and like the live, get the likes up, and that gets it out to the algorithm so we can get some flat earthers. And if you know a flat earther that you would like to see up here, go ahead and share it with them. See if we can get some of them to join. I would love to talk to some new faces. I know a lot of times when we get into this, we get the same people coming over and over. The Earth is forever a stack of waffles. If only that were true, then everyone would look like me. But a stack of waffles does sound nice. All right. Let's see if we can move this over here. There. Now it's no longer obstructing. Just when I'm on a low-carb diet. Hey, you know, living on a stack of waffles, not easy. However, there are some people that think that we live on a pancake with a salad bowl over it. And that is what we are here to talk about today. If there's any flat earthers that are willing to talk, go ahead. My multi-box is open. Cool. We'll see this. So Flat Earth Friday, all of the Flat Earthers tend to go onto Twitter during Flat Earth Fridays. They all like to congregate there and kind of sit in their own echo chambers. However, there is some that don't like Twitter, so we'll see if we can get any of those here. A man sailing on Lake Superior stays level all day. Stephen Gleason, if you would like to hop in the box, we can talk about what level means. It's flat and stationary. Outer space is fake. Prove it. Let's see. I am open. My invite box or my guest box is open to anyone that is willing to jump in the box and have a conversation. So man up. Let's see. Let's get some flat earthers in here. Okay, we do have one guest. Let's go ahead and accept to see how this goes. Hello, welcome.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm hanging in there, man. I'm on the first day of my week-long vacation, and I'm sitting outside because it's cooler outside than inside because the damn AC is broken inside my condo.
That is the worst. I lived in Southern California, and we had our AC break in the middle of the summer. Our apartment got to like 100 degrees. We had to get one of those travel ACs and stick the tube in the window. It was only like that for
AC
a couple
guy just
days.
left, so the temp's coming down a little bit, but I'm still
good.
sitting outside, just chilling.
Good. Sometimes I'd rather sit outside anyways, so.
Agreed.
All right, so what shape do you think the Earth is? Or do you disagree with any of the above?
It's round, and I do want to talk about something that you got up there.
Okay, cool.
You guys are all so hung up on the moon.
Okay.
Everybody, flat earthers, round earthers, everybody's hung up on the moon.
Okay.
Y'all fucking think the moon exists?
I mean, I can see it in the sky, so obviously there is something there.
There's no moon, dude. It just doesn't exist.
So what's up in the sky?
I don't know. It's a hologram, or it's a projection, or it's something, but it's not a moon.
Do you have
it's not a natural satellite.
Do you have any proof of that?
Yeah.
Okay. What is your proof?
I just said it.
That was not proof. That was just claims. What is your proof?
I'm trying to make. That's the point I'm trying to make. A lot of these fucking debates that you're gonna have, whether it's with me or anybody else tonight, they're gonna put up information and they're gonna tell you to go look it up yourself, or because I said it's true. None of this shit's true. Like, everything you have up there is 100% real, and nobody wants to admit to this shit. I'm so tired of seeing this topic I'm not mad at you, man. I like that you have a normal headspace. I don't understand why people are so divergent these days where they're trying to pull shit out of their ass to make an argument. It makes no sense to me.
I agree. Yeah, it's definitely it's odd, and they will argue about anything, even things that are just proven fact. I had someone argue about the Pythagorean theorem that you can't use triangles to figure out distances, and they were arguing about that just because it disagreed with their worldview, um, but they didn't know
No,
anything
people
about
see a
it.
TikTok and they're like, "Oh my god,
Mm-hmm.
that's edgy," and then they make that their whole fucking mentality,
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. I get
their whole
people
identity.
when I do things like this. I get people that come up and make arguments, and I can tell where they got that argument from. Like I can say, "Oh, you've been watching Witsit, or you just watched Eric Dubé's 200 proofs." So like I could track to see where they're getting their information based off of what they tell me, because they just watch a video and then say, "Oh yeah, that's great. So I'm just gonna go and wreck this glober because I watched a video."
This Trump guy. Do you mind if I address him real quick in the comments?
I haven't been watching. What is he saying?
The moon doesn't spin, which is completely false. The moon does spin. It just doesn't spin like you would think it should. It is tidally locked, and we actually have tidally locked satellites that are stuck in one place. Like they literally sit over the same spot every night. Some people mistake them from stars
Oh yeah,
because they stay right there where they're at.
and well, those satellites, when you look up at the stars, they will stay still, while all the other satellites will kind of, or not satellite stars, will move behind them as we move. They'll stay in the same spot. So if you track it through a couple hours, that dot will stay there, whereas the other stars will kind of move around it. But yeah, the moon absolutely rotates. It's just rotating at the same speed that we're spinning.
That it orbits.
Yeah.
Yeah, at the same speed that it orbits Earth.
Mm-hmm.
It's a rare phenomenon, but it happens a lot. A couple of Jupiter's moons are actually tidally locked as well.
It actually it kind of makes sense if you think about it. If they've done some rudimentary, I don't know the specifics on it, but the mass of the moon is kind of off center, so the side that is closest to us is denser.
Yep.
So what I've seen is that as the moon was forming, it was still in its molten state. The Earth's pull on it kind of pulled all the denser materials to that side, which is what allows it to stay in geosynchronous orbit. So if
That's the word I was looking
Yeah.
for, not tidally locked. Well, it is tidally locked. That's
sorry,
not really what I was
geosynchronous is the satellites that stay in one spot. Tidally
Yeah.
locked is what the moon is. Yeah, I mix that up a lot. But yeah,
So here's the phenomenon that I like to tie to this is I can't ever remember the difference between centripetal and centrifugal, but it's take a cup, put a string on it, put water in it, and swing it around your head. The water stays on one side of that cup and it never leaks out.
Mm-hmm.
Same fucking thing's happening with the moon because our gravity is that powerful.
Yeah.
You just are not aware of it because you were evolved to live on it and walk on it every day.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely.
But no, I didn't come up here to debate you.
No,
I just thought I'd start off with
yeah.
something funny.
I could tell after the second time that you said generally the people that are like the moon's not even real. I typically they're not. They don't actually have that position. They just want to come up here. But yeah, I appreciate you coming up here. I like the discussion. But I'm gonna have to let you go. See if we can get some other flat earthers up here because I like it to be one-on-one instead of have a panel. Okay, perfect.
Yeah, don't let me keep it.
No, you are good. Okay. Perfect. Well, thank you for coming up. I do enjoy the conversation. However, I do want to keep it open for flat earthers. A trend on these type of lives is we get a bunch of globers or flat earthers up here in a panel of 7 or 8, and then you get one of the opposition up here, and they're all just like gaining up on him. That's not something that I enjoy doing, and not something that I want to promote. No hate to any of the people that do that because they tend to just be in with their friends, and then the flat earther comes up. But I do want this to be an actual discussion between me and a flat earther. That's what I'm looking for. Or, I mean, moon landing denier, you can think the Earth is a globe and deny the moon landing. Or dinosaurs. I've never actually had a discussion on dinosaurs and would love to. But that does kind of devolve into evolution sometimes. Anyways, let's see. Multi-guest. Still no one. Okay, we have 30 people in here. I would like to get that up. We are at 1.8 K on the likes. If everyone taps for a full minute, that will get us up, push us out to the algorithm. Hopefully we can get some flat earthers in here, or truthers, or anyone that just is questioning things. I would love to have a conversation about any of the topics up above. Going through the comment section real quick. True. Earth is flat. Thank you guys for having a good grasp on science. Okay. 20 moons. A locked. The sun is electrical and has a chemical reaction with the atmosphere. M34 term. Do you have any proof to back up your claims about the sun being electric and is having a chemical reaction with the atmosphere? I'd love to have you up here and have a talk about that. And then I appreciate you guys that are following. Follow, like the live. Go ahead and hit share and just copy link. That gets us pushed out to the algorithm as well. You know, the all-powerful algorithm. They all must figure out how it works in order to be seen. I know dinosaurs are real because dino nuggets exist. Fun fact, dino nuggets. So, some theropod dinosaurs evolved into birds. And chickens are those descendants. And we make chickens into dinosaur chicken nuggets. And so literally we are eating actual dinosaurs when we are eating dinosaur chicken nuggets. So that is actual dinosaur chicken nuggets. And in fact, if you go back through like the evolutionary tree, chickens are still dinosaurs. Technically, you could call them dinosaurs and be just fine. Dinosaurs are real and chickens are dinosaurs. Yes, I know dinosaurs are real because dino nuggies. We got that one. Okay, and for those of you that are here on TikTok, I am also live over on YouTube. You don't have to go there, just so you know that is something that I am also doing. And that is, so I'm kind of juggling. If you see me looking back and forth, it's because I've got the two screens open. And I'm kind of juggling those two lives to kind of see how it's going. Does it even show that I am live on YouTube? It says that I'm live technically, so I'm going to check and make sure that I actually am. Go to view your channel. There we go. Yep, okay, so it does show that I am live, and we actually have 2 people that are watching. I appreciate those of you that are over on YouTube as well. This is the first time I've ever been live on YouTube, and I really hope that saying that I'm on YouTube doesn't hurt the algorithm and make the views over on TikTok go down, because sometimes they do like to not push out people that are promoting other platforms. So, okay, we have 50 people in here. 3.5K on the likes. I appreciate that so much. Hopefully that can get us a flat earther. When I ask you to tap the likes, I am not doing that for like me to like, oh, my live got a whole bunch of likes. I'm doing that so the algorithm can see this live. It's more for getting someone up here than actually like me getting likes. So that's what I mean when I say tap the screen. I just want flat earthers in here. The user is the same here, ADHD_projects. It's the same across all social medias here, Instagram, X, YouTube, and that's it. I tried to get it on Facebook because there's a lot of like Facebook flat earthers, but I couldn't figure out how to get like a separate one from like my personal one. I don't want to I mean, I still tend to argue with flat earthers on my personal one anyways. Clayton, you're making some claims. Buzz Aldrin. So Clayton over in the chat says that Buzz Aldrin said that we never went. He did not say that. And Clayton, if you would like to come up and show me where Buzz Aldrin says that, we can talk about that. I mean, yeah, definitely said it. Come on, let's see. And my chat is actually over on my right side, so when you see me looking to my right, I'm reading the chat. I haven't figured out a good like setup on my computer yet. So that's what's going on when I like turn away from my camera, is I'm reading the chats there. Yeah, Clayton, come on up. Let's talk about it. Come on up and we will talk about your claims. Okay. And I appreciate those of you that are coming in and the follows. I've gotten 10 new followers from this. That's great. If you are not following and like Flat Earth Debunking, or if you're into Brandon Sanderson, I know that's different from what our live is. I do make content out of that too. I also do 3D printing content every once in a while if I decide that I want to. That's kind of why I chose the name ADHD Projects, is because I knew that I wasn't going to be able to like niche down on a specific subject. So sometimes I'll do Flat Earth lives. A couple weeks ago, I had a fantasy debate live with a couple other fantasy book creators here on TikTok. So if you're into any of those things, go ahead and give me a follow. Why do Flurfs make me so mad? Because they deny facts, which would make me mad too, if they were denying facts. Bro, love you and your stuff. You're so cool with your demeanor. Big fan. Thank you so much, Travis. I appreciate that. I try and keep it positive. I know a lot of debunkers will insult, and while it's funny, I want my content to be more about learning what the truth is and what the actual facts are. And so I like that much better than the typical yelling and screaming at each other. So I appreciate that. Hashtag Globy McGlobeface exposed. Wake Bake. Are you willing to show me Globy McGlobeface exposed? That may get into some things that I don't want on the live, though. So, if we went to the moon, why is there no videos from 2024 and all Mars pictures are here in US? So, pictures, I mean, we haven't been back in 2024. We've been back several times since the moon. Oh, hey, there we go. That's a cowboy hat. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. No, and no pressure on any of those at all. I appreciate David and Weston both. Thank you for the gifts. That is appreciated. So if we went to the moon, is there no video? Why is there no videos and all pictures? So no pictures from Mars have been shown to be from Devon Island. I've made a video on that. All of the photos that are like, look, this is Devon Island and this is what NASA puts up. It's not from NASA. It's been something that someone has edited to look like a Mars mission photo, but it never has been actually from NASA. And when I ask them to show me where on NASA's website it is, they never do. So, thanks for playing. Okay, any other questions? I am more than willing to answer questions from the chat as well. Let's see. So we went to the moon. Blitz. I don't want to talk about the Planet Peterson thing. That is not something that I want to get into, mostly because I I've seen evidences, but I don't want to make any accusations that I don't know for sure. So I'm not going to get into that. And we got some... we have some viewers over on YouTube. So for those of you that don't know, I actually teach high school. And so I sometimes will get some, hey, it's my teacher. So if you know me from high school and I taught you, no, I didn't. All flirts are scared to actually prove their claims. That is true. None of them will actually substantiate their claims. Even like Witsit Gets It, he claimed that there was secret government documents that showed that the moon landing absolutely could have been faked. And then it took like a week and a half for him to actually send me the document. And then it was just a traveling mat, which is a green screen. Like, that's all it was. The 1972 Blue Marble is chemical film. No CGI existed at the time. So technically there was CGI at the time. It just was really, really bad. Okay, and Magical Mittens, I saw you come up here. The delay is much longer on YouTube than it is on TikTok. I figured that that was the case. I don't know if there is a like actual timed delay for YouTube, but I did figure that streaming in both places will cause a delay in one or the other. Blinded by Science, you don't think that they are scared to go to Antarctica. I mean, once Witsit and Jaren actually accept, I will take that down. But currently, none of them have accepted. So Jaren said, I'll go if Witsit goes. And then Witsit says, I will only go if Will Duffy goes. But Will Duffy was going to give up his own ticket for Witsit. So they're playing this little game on Jaren only will go if Witsit goes, and Will Duffy was going to give up his ticket so Witsit could go, but now Witsit is saying the only way I will go is if you do go. So they're playing some games there. If they actually end up going, I would be surprised. It may go on to one of the lower flurfs on the totem pole, but we'll see if they actually get there. Whoever was in the YouTube comments says that I am no longer their teacher, so I won't hold that against you. Okay, so still no one in the multi-guest box. Come on, guys, let's get some flat earthers up here. We're at 4.1 thousand. There's 47 of you guys. Go ahead, hit the little share button, and then hit copy link. That actually does count as a share technically. But you don't have to actually send it to anyone, or if you want to send it to someone, be my guest, get some other flat earthers. And Pato, thank you for the tiny dinosaur. That is on brand for what we are talking about here today. Okay, and let's see check back in with the chat. What did he do? So I'm in Australia. When I look north, the sun path curves the wrong way for a flat earth. Yes. So that is actually when I went on Modern Day Debates this last week. One of my proofs was that when you're in the northern hemisphere, the sun as it sets will kind of curve to the right. It curves to the right as it sets. And then in the equator, it just goes straight down. And then in the southern hemisphere, it curves to the left. So they're diverging as they go, whereas on a flat earth, they both should curve to the right. In the south, they curve to the left, which is a big problem for flat earthers. There's no way that they can explain that. I've tried to get a flat earther to explain that, and they won't do it. Never finished. For the one on YouTube, I figured that was you. I actually inherited that one. The teacher that you were trying to fix it for left, and he gave it to me. I'm actually going to repurpose it for something else. But I figured that was you. Earth is flat, guys. This guy doesn't know. Hey, bro, Guyman, come on up. Put some money where your mouth is. Actually back up your claims. No flat earther will. We've been sitting here for almost a half hour and not a single flat earther has come up to chat. Wayne, you said that you're a flat earther. Get in the box. I've got the request thing open. So if you are a flat earther, let's go, Wayne. All right, welcome up.
Yo.
What's up? How old are you?
I'm 22.
Okay, perfect. And you said that you were a flat earther. And I am getting a little bit of an echo. Is that coming from you?
It says I have poor connection, but I don't know why it says that. I'm on the Wi-Fi.
Well, the echo would be. Do you have me like? Are you wearing headphones or anything?
No, I'm just talking into my phone.
Okay, so when the sound plays out of your phone, your speaker picks it up again, and so that means that I'm getting myself back through your audio. So if you have some headphones,
put on
yeah.
Yo, hello.
Yep,
Is that better?
Yep, that's much better. Okay, so
All right. I'm gonna. Wait. Can I just say something real quick?
Yeah, absolutely,
I'm
go
gonna
for
be
it.
honest. I am a round earther. I wanted to make a joke, but this is more serious. Like you seem more serious.
Okay, yes, I appreciate jokes, and I am more serious. I do want a flat earther up here. I don't want people to come up and make fun of flat earthers. That's just not. I don't like that. And I've seen where people will come up pretending to be a flat earther and talk for like 20 minutes and then just like randomly say, I can't. I'm so sorry. I'm not actually a flat earther. And then that it just it builds mistrust, and I want my content to be actually flat earth driven, not Poe driven. So, bro, my guy, you said that you're also a flat earther, and your profile picture is the Gleason map. Go ahead and get in the box, and let's have a conversation. Helium disproves gravity theory. Gravity is a law, and it does not prove it because gravity allows for density to also be a thing. So things going up does not disprove gravity. It just means that there is a summation of forces. Things can still go up while things are pushing down. It's like if I had a tug-of-war. So I'm an adult, and if I have a tug-of-war with my nephew who's like 10, I can easily pull him. But if I let go, he will go that way. Even though once I let go, I'm no longer exerting my force. He was still exerting a force the other way, but the summation of forces, mine was bigger and I was pulling down. So when the helium balloon goes up due to density and buoyancy, that means that there is a force exerted on the balloon by buoyancy. It is called the buoyant force. It is the force due to buoyancy. It overcomes the force due to gravity. That is a fact. And gravity is also a fact, not a theory. Let's see. Bro Guyman, you've been talking in the chat a whole lot. Are you not able to come up? Let's see. You've only got 17 followers, my dude. Although I think TikTok changed. Can't you? You can still come up if you don't have 1,000 followers. I'm not quite sure. Anyways, we've got 42 people in here at 4.2 likes. If you all tap it 100 more times, we can get 430, I guess. Tap it like 1,000 more times. Just keep going. 200 no camera, 800 with camera. Don't know what that means. Helium will never fully escape the Earth. It will always settle before leaving the atmosphere. We do lose a little bit of the atmosphere. It's not a whole lot, but we do lose some of that helium that goes up there. And I'm not sure if it's even helium. It's maybe some other gas. But we are losing a little bit of our atmosphere every year. It's very slight. And most of what we lose is actually replenished by asteroids and things. So there is that. Yes, dinosaurs were real, but they are renamed from dragons. Or is it the other way around? And dragons came from finding dinosaur fossils, and they had to make a story. In fact, we know that that's where Cyclops came from. Is not the X-Men character, the actual like the Cyclopsians from Greek mythology. Is they found big elephant skulls, and if you look at an elephant skull, they've got like an indentation right here. It's their nose. It's where their trunk attaches to their nose. So they get that big indentation there, and it starts. When they saw it, they thought, "Oh, this is a human, but with one eye and is really, really big." That's why sometimes you will actually see Cyclopses with 3 eyes, because a elephant has eye sockets, and then they have that one in the center. So they thought that it had 3 eyes. So same thing. In my opinion, the same thing would have happened with dinosaur bones. They went and found these dinosaur bones and said, "Oh, this is a dragon. Someone must have slain it." Dragons. So I think it's more likely that it's the other way around. That dragons are just people finding fossils and trying to interpret what they are. Earth is flat. We didn't go to the moon. Dinosaurs weren't real, and flat earthers aren't scared to go. Well, Philip Tecum, it sounds like you disagree with all of my claims, so go ahead and request, and we can have a conversation since you disagree with all of those claims. I have proof for all of them. So, I was joking. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people that joke about that. Every culture had dragon slaying myths before, even when dinosaur bone was found. So that we know of. Again, if they were finding dinosaur bones, they weren't preserving them, and they probably didn't have means to actually get them out of the rock. So if they went up on a hill and saw a T-Rex skull on the hill, they're like, that is definitely a dragon. So there's no proof that they didn't find it. I mean, I'm not claiming that they did. I would think that they would have, and that's where dragons come from. They just wouldn't have been archaeological about it. Once we found out that there are dinosaurs, then when we stumbled across these dinosaur bones, we're like, oh, that's a dinosaur, not a dragon. Dragons were killed as late as the Crusades. Matthew Gibson, do you have proof to that? I mean, I saw a documentary on the Discovery Channel one time about dragons, but it was just a for funsies thing that wasn't actually real. They had found a corpse and everything, they had little babies, and they figured out how it would have flown, but no actual evidence of dragons, unless you accept dinosaur bones as dragons. But if that's the case, there's no evidence that big T-Rexes could fly. The Moonlander looks like a kindergarten project. I mean, it looks like it was put together to drive on a different environment than we're used to. No concrete, but records from Crusades could be exaggerated. Yes, like I said, they would have found these and tried to make up stories that went around these fossils. And just because they wrote it down doesn't mean it's true. I mean, they could have just written down myths, just like the myth of the Cyclops. We know that Cyclopses weren't real, and they were looking at elephant skulls because they said, look, here is a Cyclops skull. And then we're like, sir, that is an elephant. Dragon myths are just imagination about a lizard being 1,000 times bigger. Dinosaur bones, both. Disprove dragons and prove dinosaurs. Yes. Yeah. There's no substantial evidence that dragons actually existed, but we do know that there were big dragon-looking creatures that roamed the earth. So, in my opinion, this is just my own personal opinion, they saw dinosaur bones and thought they were dragons. So, Nikki in the chat says, I believe that we went to the moon, but can you explain how we lost the original moon landing footage? That is easy. We did not. So this is often misunderstood as to what we lost. When we went to the moon the first time, we have all of the actual footage. That's fine. We have it. What we don't have is what's called telemetry data. So as they went to the moon, we were getting data back from the craft, and it was reading out as what's called telemetry. It's like the pitch and the yaw and like the fuel consumption, things like that. That's telemetry data. Your dashboard, that's telemetry data about you driving. We recorded those, but then re-recorded over the tapes. Or something happened that we no longer have the telemetry data for one of the missions. However, they did just have a camera. I'm 95% sure this is true. I've heard it before. We had a camera that was recording the screen that had those readouts. So we didn't lose anything in the moon landing. Those people that say that we lost telemetry data, that's not true. I have literally found fossils in the mountains. Dinosaurs being real isn't up for debate. You know, that's what I think too. I personally have dinosaur fossils in my possession, but that does not mean that other people agree. I thought that it was obvious that the Earth was a globe, but yeah. Makes sense, Nikki. Yes, I hope that I can clear that up. It's a talking point that a lot of people bring up that, oh, we lost. Why did we lose all of it? Well, we really didn't. We recorded over it. Yeah, because they didn't really care about it. And I'm not 100% sure if they were recorded over. And okay, Travis, I apologize. I did not see you in the box. Hello and welcome up.
Hello, thanks for having me.
What shape do you think the Earth is?
I think the Earth is flat in my... Well, no, it is flat. I'm not going to say in my opinion because it is flat.
It is flat? Okay. So,
It is flat.
Do you have any proof to back that claim up?
Yeah, so NASA, I haven't seen one real picture of the Earth before on, NASA website. They're not AI generated. They're just very... Actually, I think some of them are AI generated pictures of the Earth. And could you show me a picture of the Earth that's not fake?
That is not fake? Yes. It is... Let me pull it up and show you. Let's get a... Pull that one. That's a web. And let me go and throw it up on my screen here. Whoops. Hey now.
That Earth is flat confirmed.
No,
Joke.
that was from a different live. It popped up for some reason. Okay. Let's go to image. Downloads. Oh, that didn't download. Why not? Because I didn't save it. Okay. Oh, you can't see it yet. Okay, can you see that on my screen? Oh, it's a little distorted. Can I?
Yeah, it's good. I can see it.
Okay, so it's a little distorted. But that is the picture of the Earth from space.
Okay, now what took this photo? Was it like a space thing or like a?
It was some
what was it?
astronauts.
From what? An iPhone? Like what is this picture from? Do you know?
So it was taken on a Hasselblad. I forget the exact model, but it's taken on a Hasselblad camera, taken by the Apollo 11 astronauts on their way to the moon.
Okay, and let me see this picture. Hold on, let me mute real quick. But how do you know this is a real photo? How do you know that they're not lying?
So this photo is taken on film. We have the film still today. In fact, I can pull up, it's called March to the Moon. It is a website that has all of the NASA moon lunar missions. And it has all of the actual film that's scanned in. You can go down to Austin, Texas. I believe it's Austin, Texas. And look at the physical film down there. And verify that it's actually taken on film. If they were to edit the film, you'd be able to tell. There's something called a matte line that shows up when editing film. This photo here shows no evidence of tampering.
Okay, cool. So could you go back to that, like your first screen that you had up with like the points?
Yeah, I can. Let me just. Is it? Oh, I am on the wrong screen. Sorry, I've got several windows open. One is showing to TikTok. The other is showing somewhere else. Okay. There you go.
Yeah, I agree. Dinosaurs are real. Yeah, flat earthers are too. Why do you think we're scared to go to Antarctica? What do you think is not really necessarily in Antarctica? But what do you think?
So
why do you think we're scared?
On a flat Earth, from every flat Earth model or map that I've ever seen or been told exists, the sun kind of goes around a circle around the flat Earth, and in Antarctica, you can stand in Antarctica and see a 24-hour sun. However, on a flat Earth, the sun comes around to where you are, and it goes all the way around to the other side of the Earth, and then it comes all the way back around. That's not possible if we're seeing a 24-hour sun in Antarctica. And that's what they're going down to see, is that 24-hour sun.
Okay, sure. And then what does that one say? The Earth or we went to the moon? Is that what it says?
Yeah. So yeah, it says we went to the moon. There's the Earth is not flat. We went to the moon. Dinosaurs were real, and flat earthers are too scared to go to Antarctica.
So this isn't like a parting shot. But what do you think dinosaurs had to do with the Earth being like flat or round? Just like a question. I'm not trying.
It doesn't. So the reason I have it up there is because I personally like. I mean, I like dinosaurs.
Oh, true. Yeah.
And it's a common theory that comes up a lot when talking about flat Earth. It comes up commonly in the same conversations. Is that evolution and dinosaurs didn't exist? A lot of people will put that, well, if the Earth is flat, that means evolution is not true, or something like that. A lot of times they go into the same conversation. I'm not necessarily saying they have to be linked or anything like that. I just put it up there because I think it's interesting, and I don't get a whole lot of people that talk about that one.
Right. So could you just give me maybe one or two reasons? You don't have to be super long, but how do you know the Earth is round for 100% fact?
For 100% fact, that is a good question. So, first off, we can talk through kind of how we came to this conclusion. So, the first thing is we were standing on a beach as humans. We're standing on a beach and we saw a boat going over the horizon. It disappeared bottom up. Okay, this is something we've all seen, most of us have seen, is a boat going behind the horizon. Now, that in itself does not prove anything about the shape of the Earth. However, on a flat Earth, it kind of doesn't work. So we look at that and we say, I think that they're disappearing behind an actual curve, and that everything's curving down, which means that the Earth would be a globe. And so we now have a hypothesis, the globe-Earth hypothesis. So we start making observations. We look to the northern hemisphere, And we all know that the northern hemisphere stars rotate around a singular point. Polaris is at that point. It's the axis of rotation. The entire sky rotates around that singular point. Now we can go down to the southern hemisphere, look in the south, 180 degrees away from the North Star, look at the south central point of rotation, and we see the same thing, stars rotating around that point. Now that's something that corroborates if the Earth were a globe and it were spinning, the stars on either end would rotate. My camera's flipped like twice. They'll rotate around in both directions if it were a globe. That corroborates our hypothesis. That is an observation that happens, that is expected on a globe and is not expected on the flat Earth. So there's two observations that work for the globe and don't for the flat Earth. And then we're forming our hypothesis. We will look at the sun and take measurements from different places on Earth and measure those angles. We can also measure how big the sun is based off of our distances. If we are in Florida, we can measure the size of the sun, and then we go, 1,000 miles north, measure the sun again. It stays the same angular size. Meaning, either the sun is moving with you as you go north, which it doesn't, no one observes that, or the sun is not changing angular size, meaning that it is super far away that 1,000 miles doesn't change the angular size because it's just so far away. At least in any measurable amount. It probably does, just not any measurable amount. So now we have a hypothesis that the sun is just super far away. They even at one point thought it was infinitely far until they actually measured it. And so now we know sun super far away, not local at all. It is not close by. That means that all shadows created by the sun are parallel. And this is something that we can observe. Even though we're standing on the ground, they kind of look like they diverge away from the sun. You can send a drone up and look at those same shadows. They're coming parallel. All shadows coming from the sun are parallel. So we can use that to measure different places on the Earth. If we're standing on the equator during the equinox, the sun is directly overhead, meaning the shadow is straight below the observer. Okay, it is at 90 degrees from that point. And then if we move 500 miles north and make that same observation at the same exact time, the shadow will be more than it is at the equator, right? Because we know that the only place that shadows disappear on the equinox is the equator. So if we move away from there, we get more of a shadow. And then we can move further even still, another 500 miles north, and get a bigger shadow. Now the problem with this is that doesn't work. It does work on a flat Earth with a local sun, but it only works with 2 observational points. If you add 3 in there, then you can take those angles and see that they're moving out, not in a linear way. If it were flat, the angles would move out in a linear way. Because it's a globe, the angles will start to get more and more angled as they go away from the equator. And we can even use that to derive the R value, the radius of the Earth. So that takes us from a hypothesis all the way to measuring the actual radius of the Earth.
Wow, this is crazy. I came in here going flat Earth, and maybe my mind's changed. I really can't dispute any of those points. I mean, if it's just science, I can't really dispute that. But I just have another question. Like,
okay,
someone mentioned like the ISS, live video of the Earth, right? But on the video, it's so zoomed in, you can't even really tell. If you just gave it to somebody that's never seen, video before in the middle of the jungle, they would just see. Can't really see anything. It's just there's nothing there. It's just really close to the Earth. It's like just looking at clouds.
So, do you know how high the ISS is in relation to the Earth? See, I don't have my globe here.
Like miles? Is that we're talking like miles?
It is, yes, it is several miles. But if we had like a basketball, the ISS would be less than an inch above that basketball. It is not very far off the ground.
Right.
So when we take a picture from it, it still looks like we're pretty close to the Earth because we are pretty close to the Earth. It's just so massive that you can't get a full angled shot of the Earth from the ISS. It's just too close.
Right. So don't you think maybe like, don't even have to be billionaires, but maybe like, if NASA wanted to just debunk all the flat earthers, couldn't they just set up a camera
They
and then just get a farther shot of the planet on a live stream? Is that just like not possible?
we have a probe out that is super far away that takes a picture of the planet every 10 minutes.
So where can I look at that? I'm actually interested. You know, I'm always.
So it is called Discover DS. Sorry, DS. Dis. VR DS. Let's see this chat now. Nope. Okay. Discover. DSCOVR, Deep Space Climate Observation, and it shows a picture every like 10 minutes.
Oh yeah, I saw that on there. Well, that's interesting. You know.
Yeah, and then the Himawari 8, it's pointed over Japan, so you only get views of Japan. But the Discover satellite is put in a point between us and the sun, and no matter how we turn, it's pointed at the daytime of the Earth, so we get only daytime shots of the Earth from Discover.
Yeah, this is crazy. Maybe I think my mind's changed. I think maybe I believe the Earth is round. I mean, I don't really have any other proof that can disprove these points, and yeah, just disprove them. I don't think you could really deny it anymore, in my opinion. It's the science and math.
I agree. That's why I come up here and do it. So I definitely agree. I appreciate you coming up here. I know it's always good to stay skeptical, but there is a point where skepticism is irrational. But definitely stay skeptical. Don't just believe it because I said it. Go look up Discover and see for yourself. But yeah, we do get those photos all the time of the Earth.
Right. And I just have one more question. I don't know if you've seen, there's like a photo on the internet of like if the Earth was flat and then there was like a meteor and it would like spin the Earth if it hit it on one side.
Say that again.
So it's like a picture. If you look up like flat Earth and meteor, there's like a meteor coming down. And then
oh, the meme where the meteor comes down and it like flips the flat Earth like a coin.
Yeah.
And all the dinosaurs go flying. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah. I like that.
All right. Well, I appreciate you being civil. Okay. And I think my mind's changed. I was just like made some pretty good points. So
absolutely. That's kind of why I'm here. So I appreciate you coming up.
You have a good day, sir.
You too. Okay, so I appreciate you coming up. That was a good conversation. I like conversations like that. Lots more than the being angry at each other. There's no need to be angry. It's just the Earth. Just have fun. Okay, so we've got a few people in the guest box. I will just go from the top down. It doesn't tell me who came in first. So I'm going to come on with Byron. Hello, welcome up. Hello, can you hear me?
Hey, buddy.
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, yeah.
How old are you?
So I just got a quick question. I'm 32.
Okay, perfect. Okay, what is your question?
U.S. Air Force veteran.
Say that again.
I said United States Air Force veteran, avionics.
Oh, awesome. Well, thank you for your service.
Thank you, sir. How would you explain all the long distance observations we see?
Do you have one specifically in mind? There's a lot of different explanations for each of the different ones. It really depends on which one you're looking at. There are mechanisms that allow you to see much further than you would expect on the globe. A lot of those have to deal with actual, like, how high you are based off of how high they are in elevation. A lot of people take just observational height as opposed to observer height, or observer elevation. And when you factor those in, that it makes it so you can see it. And then there's also refraction. Refraction is a thing. No one can deny that refraction happens. And because light goes to the denser medium, that means that it's kind of it follows the curve of the Earth a little bit. So that would also bring things that are further away into view. So there's a few different explanations.
Images can bend over a curve?
Yes.
Nice. All right, I just wanted a couple answers real quick.
Okay.
Gyroscopes. Have you talked about the gyros yet?
So not in this live today, but I do know a bit about the gyroscopes.
And I'm not talking about like the Razorling gyros that they used in that Netflix mockumentary.
The ring laser gyroscopes that prove the spin of the Earth.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, they don't. But okay.
I mean, they did.
Do you know what the purpose of a gyroscope is?
Yes, to keep the position in space.
Rigidity in space. Yeah.
Correct.
All right. So when an aircraft goes out to do their pre-flight, and they start up all their instruments and stuff, just about every guidance system they use has at least one or two, sometimes even backup gyros. So when those spin up on the flight line, you're setting your ground reference for that flight line.
Yes.
So when I was stationed in Japan, when I was stationed in Japan, and we would go on flights, so when you're starting up, gyroscope spins up to keep your, gives your ADI, levels out your ADI reading and all that. So to say, if you flew from Japan to the United States, by the time you got to the United States, your gyroscope would be inverted. Like your ADI reading from your gyroscope, it would be inverted.
Yes, and the ADI does have a mechanism that accounts for that.
Not the ones I use in the Air Force.
Okay, the ones that one of my friends here on
pendulous veins.
The ones that my friend here on TikTok used in the Air Force did.
What do you work on?
I'm not sure. You'd have to take that up with him.
Okay. Well, I was just bringing up a few points to see if you.
Yeah. So the analog gyros I'm not as familiar with.
Yeah, we used like mechanical gyros. They didn't have like the.
It's like a physical thing inside spinning. I've seen them.
Yeah, it's much bigger than that.
Yeah.
But the ones you're probably familiar with are the ones that are like built into the ADIs and the your different instruments and stuff. But the ones specifically that I used didn't have the pendulous vanes. And a matter of fact, if the gyros were drifting, they were bad gyros and we had to change them out.
So, yeah, I'm not too familiar with those gyros. I can't find where I found it before.
Do you know what a compass swing is?
Not off the top of my head, no.
That's when you calibrate your compass system. You pretty much have to take the plane out on the flight line out to an isolated area away from all metal, any kind of interference, because when you're doing this calibration, you're using these things in the wingtips called flux capacitors, as crazy as that sounds. Or they're called MADS, M-A-D-S, which stands for magnetic azimuthal detectors. Okay, if you know what azimuthal means. But basically, it's reading the magnetic field of the Earth.
Okay. I did find the pendulous vein. That is what I was referring to. Do you have the type?
Mine didn't have it.
What's the type of gyroscope you were using that didn't have the pendulous vein?
Just a mechanical gyro.
Okay.
You'd have to look up. I worked on C130H /J models.
C130H.
H models. They retired them. They upgraded them to J models.
And you said it's an ADI.
Well, pretty much all your systems use it. Your ADI, your HSI, Flight Director System, Autopilot, they all use gyroscopes. Stealing Valor. Okay.
Let's not have any of that in the chat, guys.
I'll show you my DD214, brother.
There's no need for that. I trust you. I'd give you the benefit of the doubt that you wouldn't come up here, and it sounds like you are knowledgeable of gyroscopes. There are people that would come up and say, well, what about plain gyroscopes, and then not be able to tell me what a pendulous vein is. I mean, I couldn't tell you what it was.
I mean, we you know, when we're doing our tech school and stuff, when we're learning about it, there's literally like a paragraph about pendulous veins because we don't really use.
Okay, so what was it? A C-130 Hercules?
Like I said, that's more for. That's right, baby. Them Hercs.
Nice. Okay. Sorry, I'm just trying to zero in, trying to find that specific one.
There's multiple. I would say there's more than 14 gyros on that plane. Like I said, every system it'll have a main gyro and a backup gyro. And then your amplifiers and all your other electronics that go with it to your system. But did you know that for linear flight paths, they assume the Earth's non-rotating?
No, they
flat,
don't.
Right? How do you say? Why do you say that?
Because they don't.
So all the Air Force documents that state that they do are.
Can you give
wrong?
me an Air Force document that states that?
Oh yeah, I can send them right to you.
Okay.
But going back to the long distance observations, I say that because I live in Florida, and you know we're surrounded by water like everywhere. And just on a daily basis, we have a bridge here in North Florida called the Buckman Bridge. It crosses the St. Johns River.
Mm-hmm.
When you cross the Buckman Bridge, if you look south, you can see a 33-mile direct line of sight. Pretty much on a daily basis, unless it's like real hazy and hot.
Is it over water?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So water is the condition, like right above water is the condition that will refract things the most.
Oh yeah.
So you're making an observation under the most likely conditions to have refraction. So if you want to make that claim, that's fine, but you will have to give me the measurements of the atmosphere and tell me what the refraction index was for the time of those observations.
I do it daily, bro.
Okay.
Every day. There's where I live. It's close to Jacksonville, and that bridge is in Jacksonville, and I can see 3 counties over. 33 miles, like I said, 33 miles direct line of sight. And that's just looking south in one direction. If I look north while I'm on the bridge too, I can see another 30, 40 plus miles.
What's the name
all
of
way
the
to
bridge?
downtown. The Buckman, Buckman, Buckman Bridge.
It even has a paragraph in there saying that you can
And
see
where
the
are
Seminole
you
County
making the observation
steam
from?
towers.
The bridge itself, on the low point, not the arc of the bridge, the low point.
Okay, and what are you seeing from the bridge that is too far?
The Seminole County Steam Tower plant.
Is that out towards the ocean or the other direction?
It's directly south, like directly looking south down the St. John's. So it goes over some water, but then it turns to land for quite a few miles too. So it's not like they're sitting at the edge of the water 33 miles away. They're like sitting on land, like inland.
What
over the
what
waters.
city is that in?
Jacksonville, Florida.
The plant itself.
Oh, Palatka, I want to say. It's Seminole County.
Okay.
It has if you're on the Buckman Bridge wiki page, it has a paragraph stating that you can see the towers.
Okay. And do you have the photo of that?
Yeah, I can send a photo. I've done the the Earth curve calculator and given it, generous viewer height and all that, and it still should be hidden, even with the refraction index and all that.
Okay. This is something I'll look into. I just got those distances to verify that it was 30 miles. There is some flat earthers who are like, well, I saw it from this place, and you measure it, and it's like 10 miles, which is easily accounted for by refraction. 30 miles can be, it's a little bit more of a stretch, especially over land. Because it looks like there's a
small
lot.
Example too, bro. We have photos hundreds of miles.
Let's talk about those ones. Which ones?
Shoot, bro. It's all online,
Mm-hmm. Your claims.
Yeah, there's a guy that goes up on airplanes with an infrared lens, and he can see.
Yeah, no, those are all debunked. He always just puts arrows places, and it's never places that mean anything. There's no landmarks that can verify what he's seen. He just says, look, this is the Gulf of Mexico. But it's you can't really see what it is that he's talking about. In fact, I have one on my page where I have it says it is from, I think, Chicago, and it's like, these are the Rocky Mountains, and then you can look at one of the buildings that's close, and then one of the buildings that's halfway to the Rocky Mountains, and those buildings are like 2 miles apart. And so the angle that is taken at definitely wouldn't have had that building that far away from the other building. So that's just one. I've got that one on my page if you would like to go see it.
Yeah, I'll see.
Yeah, it's I go through it and I show the angle. I can find the exact place that was taken and the angle, and follow the roads, and you can see a road that goes out to the horizon, which there's no road that goes straight, like dead straight from Chicago to the Rocky Mountains, which is what his claim. He's like, this is the Rocky Mountains, and then the road went from the front all the way to that arrow.
Right. You talking about the infrared lens guy?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm just trying to give you some questions, get your point of view on it is, basically.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if I'm looking at it's a 130 page paper on aeronautical engineering.
I don't want to use my phone while I'm on.
No, you're good. Let me know when I can look it up. When I do this, I sit in front of my computer. That way, when a claim comes up, I can check it. Like, I did verify that bridge is 30 miles away from the observation point. I would just need to see the photo in order to make more accurate things.
Just a couple more questions, and I'll get out of here and let another guest come on.
Okay.
Do you agree that water seeks and finds its level?
Define level for me, please.
Flat.
No.
Like horizon?
Nope.
Like the horizon's like flat?
Nope. Flat.
So water does not find its level.
No, water finds its level. Your definition of level is wrong.
Okay, and also, does water take the shape of an interior of a container or the exterior?
Do you mean... Okay, so that's a weird question.
I mean, can you put water on the outside of a bowl, or does it go in the inside of a bowl?
I mean, water can be on the outside of the bowl.
And stick and spin?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in fact, if you take a tennis ball and get it wet and spin it the same speed as the Earth, the water does not fly off of it. In fact, it will retain more water than is on the surface of the Earth.
Do what?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Let me see if I can...
if you take a tennis ball, dip it in water, and wait for it to stop dripping, it'll still be wet, and then you spin it at the same rotational speed as the Earth, the water will stay stuck to it, and it will hold more water than the Earth does in relation to its size. To scale, that's the word.
Okay. Well, 10-4, man. I just wanted to give you a couple questions, get your little viewpoint on it and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm gonna shoot you a follow. How often do you get on live and stuff?
I'm not on very often. I like to go on every once in a while, but I work full time and I'm going to school full time, and I have a 9-month-old, so I don't get a whole lot of time to do this. My wife is amazing and taking him right now, so I don't get to get on very often.
10-4. Well, I'm gonna give you a follow, man. Hopefully, if you're on again, I can jump back on with some more questions for you.
Yeah, and go ahead and send me some of the stuff that you were talking about. I'd like to go in and do kind of a analysis of some of the photos you were talking about.
10-4, brother.
Cool.
Well, you have a blessed night, man.
All right, thank you, and you too.
All right, bud.
All right. Okay, I think we've got time for one more. I do have Brownies Be Bacon in the box, so let's go ahead and get him up here. Welcome.
What is that?
Hello?
Yeah, hi, can you hear me?
I can, yes.
All right, cool. I got a question, and I just don't know why they don't say this. Why is the flat Earth model round on the border?
So they, if you will ask a flat earther this, they will say that they don't know the actual shape of the Earth. In fact, let me pull up a photo, or not. I guess it's not a photo. A picture that comes up often with flat earthers. This one. No, stop trying to save it as a WebEx. So let me get it pulled up. Oftentimes, when you talk to a flat earther, they will say that they make no claims as to the actual shape around the flat Earth. They will say they don't know. We can't go outside of the ice wall. We don't know what is there. So there is this photo here that I see often. Don't know how well you can see that.
Well,
so
that's
if you, yeah. So if you look, there is. Somewhere in here there's us, and then all of these other surrounding ones are different realms, they would call it. So
like a multiverse, kind
of. Yeah, absolutely. In fact, one of these is called Asgard, the other is like Narnia or
Nice.
something. Yeah, so what's funny about this one here, this was actually drawn by a science fiction author for one of his books, and they use this one. There's other variations. In fact, there's others where there's like us in the center, and then there's like another wall on the outside with land, and then there's another wall with land. It just keeps going. Most of them will say that it's probably some sort of infinite plane, but we only know it as round because that's all we can see.
Right. And then the other side of that is no one talks about the other side of the coin. The other side.
It's weird.
Yeah.
It's weird me making these arguments because they will say, well, we've only ever dug 7 miles into the earth. We don't know what's down there. We dug 7 miles, and every step of the way they were wrong about what was next, and so we can't make any claims about what's on the other side. However, I have also heard a dragon on the other side, and that's why like volcanoes exist, or a white hole. Of course,
hole.
Yeah, a white hole, which would be the opposite of a black hole.
Right, it's everything on the other side, or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so the reason I'm still here is you were talking to a guest named Justin, and you were talking about a satellite that was between Earth and the Sun, which always shows us the illuminated side of the Earth. And he said that his mind was changed. It would be nice to find out if that is actually true and how a flat earther feels at that moment that their mind has been changed. Because I was hoping to get on when he was still there, but I missed my opportunity.
Yeah, I generally try and keep people on one at a time. Just so we don't have people dogpiling over each other.
That's smart.
Yeah, if you ask me, my personal opinion is that he was also a troll.
Okay.
So, it would be nice to think that I turned a flat earther. That would be amazing, awesome. But also, I kind of have to be real about it.
Okay.
So if Justin's still in the chat or around, I'd like to do an interview and see if we can see what his feelings are about changing.
Is he there?
I don't think so.
No.
All right. Well, thank you for coming up and asking
that's all
questions.
I have.
No, you're good.
Okay, cool. You have a good night.
Hey, thanks. You too.
Sure thing. Bye now.
Bye. Okay, we can do one more. Hello and welcome.
How's it going tonight?
Doing good. How are you?
Doing pretty good.
Good. Do you just
So you know where that curvature's at?
where?
I haven't found it.
Okay.
I've been looking for a long time.
So I have a question. If I could hold up proof of curvature to you, what would you expect that to look like?
Well, in generic terms, 8 inches per mile squared.
Okay, but if I could, because I could show you boats going over the horizon at 3 miles, which would corroborate 8 inches per mile, and obviously you disagree with that proof. So what would that proof, if I could say, look, proof of curve, what would that look like to you?
Well, how would that be proof if we can zoom in and further than 3 miles and see?
So the boat that I was referring to, if it is disappearing over the horizon, you cannot zoom it back in.
Right.
What happens is if you see it partially covered, you only see like the top of the mast or whatever. There's no amount of zoom that can bring that back in. You can make it bigger, but you can't make any more of the boat be seen. Flat earthers will try and say, "Oh, look, I did it," but they'll show you a boat that's just too far to see, and then they'll zoom it back in. But at no point will it have been obstructed by the curve. So we can't zoom those boats back in.
But we can past the physical curvature that's claimed to be.
So again, I've never seen that. I know flat earthers like to claim that, but they will never show a partially obstructed boat and zoom it in so you can see the whole thing. That's just not how perspective works. It's not how things.
You've never seen that?
No, I've not a single flat earther has ever shown me that.
That's odd to me. Like, there's many clips out there.
What I have, I'll tell you again. I'll tell you what I have seen is they start zoomed out and there's no boat, and then they start zooming in and the boat gets bigger and bigger as they zoom in. At no point was the boat actually obstructed by the horizon. It was just too little to be resolved by the camera. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a boat that is visibly hidden by the curve or by the horizon. You can see that it looks like it's sinking because parts of it is underwater and it's hidden, and then they zoom it in. They cannot zoom in the bottom of the boat. That I have never seen.
But you're arguing the distance. You just said 3 miles the boat will start going over the curve, yet we've got observations of much further distance than 3 miles.
Yes. So there's lots of things that factor into the equation of where the horizon should be, or where the optical horizon should be, or where boats start disappearing. One is observer height.
There should be a physical horizon based on the globe at 1.225 times the square root of the observer height.
I'd have to check on that math. That sounds incorrect. But so you agree that there are things based off of the globe that would affect if we can see it or not, right? You said based off of observer height. That means if you were higher, so that 3 miles was actually at 6 feet, right with your toes in the water. Okay, that is 6 feet above the surface of the water. Any more than that, so if you're up on a deck, you're like 15 feet, or most of the ones that I see where they zoom a boat back in, they're like in a hotel room. So they're super high up. Means that they can see further, right? That's to be expected because it's based off of observer height. Now there is another thing that can go into whether or not we can see past this horizon, and it is called refraction. Because we know that there's air in between us and the boat, and we know that light, if it interacts with anything, it's changed. Okay, so light is coming through the air, and because there's different densities of the air, and as it travels, it will refract. Okay, and that refraction is what allows us to see around the curve slightly.
That's the claim.
That is the claim, yes, and that is what we observe. We know that refraction exists. We can measure it. We can see it.
Yeah, I agree. Refraction exists.
Yep.
Yeah, that's why we get stuck on the horizon is optical. It is not a physical horizon. It's optical, and it depends on all
everything
the
that you see is optical. So like this microphone right here, me seeing it, that's optical.
Yes.
So that doesn't mean that I'm not seeing, so like this, the curve right here where things disappear over the microphone, that's an optical horizon. That doesn't mean that it's also not there.
You just said the microphone was blocking it. What do you mean?
Right.
That's physical.
Right. But things like, so there's air in between me and this thing. If I were to put a lens right here and angled the lens, I could see around this curve because the light was coming up and it was refracting through the lens and coming into my eyes.
Yeah, I don't believe that.
That is observable. We can prove that.
It hasn't been proven.
So if I were standing at a corner,
because
have you ever been in a hospital?
Yeah.
Do you know those little mirrors that are up in the corner, right?
Okay.
Do you know what those mirrors are?
The mirrors in the hallways, right?
Yeah.
Up in the corners.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Do you know why they're there?
Yeah, for observation, be able to look backwards.
To be able to see around the corner to make sure that there's no one. So if you're coming with someone and someone's coming up this way, it makes sure there's no collision here because you can see around the corner.
Yeah,
That's light that is being refracted around a corner. It's the same mechanism.
No, it's being reflected. That's not refraction.
What
That's
is the difference?
reflection.
What's the difference?
Between reflection and refraction?
Can you tell me the difference?
I do not have that on the top of my head.
Then why would you make the claim that they're different if you don't know?
Because refraction is effect to our observation.
So is reflection.
A reflection is off of a physical barrier, shiny barrier that reflects what's on the other side. Like that's
how does it reflect?
Reflect? Mirrored surface?
Okay. So you don't know. That's fine. So any time that light enters something, it will change its direction. We know this. This is observed. We can see refraction in the atmosphere. You know how you're driving in the road and it looks like it's all wet, but when you get closer, it's actually not wet. That is refraction.
Refraction.
Correct.
Not reflection.
Right. It is being refracted. So when you're looking at the road.
No.
So when you are looking at the road and you see the car, it's not actually in the road, right? It's not actually there, right? It's because it's being refracted. So mirrors refract light.
I can't get behind that one.
That's fine. We know that refraction happens.
Yeah, I don't deny it.
You agree with that. So why is it that we cannot apply our knowledge that refraction happens to observations? Because we know we're looking through the atmosphere. We know the atmosphere refracts light. We know that when you are looking over water, the water right above the water is denser than the air above it. And when light travels through and hits a denser medium, it refracts down.
Right.
That means that it is refracting around the curve of the Earth.
No.
See, you were saying right all up until I said around the curve of the Earth, and then you're just nah.
Because the curve of that's a physical curve to this planet that we supposedly live on.
Right, and the corner in the hallway was a physical corner. Light can get around it. Light can refract.
That can be measured, just like the Earth's
and so
surface.
can the atmosphere.
The Earth's surface.
Oh, so you want to move away from the horizon now and go to measurements of curve?
That has to do with the horizon. There should be a physical horizon based on the spherical numbers of this.
Right. So if I'm wearing glasses and things are bigger, does that mean that they're physical or optical?
That is not analogous.
Absolutely, it is. It is
Not
both refraction through a lens. Absolutely, it's analogous.
I'm talking about physical measurements of this Earth that we are
Okay, so you want to go away from the horizon to measurements now. Because taking a picture isn't a measurement.
Okay.
So you want to go to measurements now?
Sure, if you that's what you want to claim, that it's going to be the change of subject.
You are the one that brought up measurements.
Physically, the Earth's spherical model, what everybody believes, not everybody, obviously not everybody. A lot of people today believe of this spherical object. There is a physical horizon that exists on this spheroid.
There is a physical horizon, but because we make observations with optics, that means our observations, like cameras, can be affected by optics. Optics is how light moves through things, okay? Light moves through the atmosphere. The light cannot move through the atmosphere without being affected.
but it doesn't change the physical measurements of this supposed sphere.
It means that we can see around it. If I were here's my I wish I had my little globe right here. So you'll have to just deal with my microphone.
You want one? I got one.
It doesn't help me right here. So I've got my little microphone right here. Let's see if I can pull my light over so you can see it. So my microphone here has a curve to it, right?
Okay.
Okay, and if I were to put my camera here and look this way, things could be blocked by this curve here, right?
Right.
Okay, if I were to put a lens right here, I could see things that were blocked by this curve.
Depends
On?
The amount of curvature that has to exist. Depends on what's in the air.
You're right. It does depend on a whole lot of things. Every time someone says, well, we see too far, I ask them atmospheric conditions, and they never know.
Like, yeah, like we found that there's a refraction measurement that can be added to those curvature calculators.
There is a refraction index, and this is something that is measured, and you can calculate based off of the measurements that you take on the day of the observation. No flat earther takes these measurements.
Yeah, because everybody just manipulates that refraction bar all the way up to, well, yeah.
So the thing is,
on the sphere.
I don't have to make the claim that that photo has a certain amount of refraction. You have to show me that that photo has a certain amount of refraction. It is your claim. My claim is refraction is a thing, and if you didn't account for refraction, then we throw the photo out.
Like, yeah, I'm not a big fan of photos. Like,
then why would you make that claim?
I didn't present a photo.
You said that we can make the observations and take pictures of things that were way too far, and then I brought up that you can't zoom things back in through your camera, and you said, yes, you can. You made a claim by photos.
You got the photos and pictures. I was talking about the physical Earth curvature on the Earth that everybody's walking around on. There's a physical measurement that tells anybody.
So you do want to talk about measurement. You keep bringing up measurements, and then when I want to talk about the measurement, you're like, no. Do you want to talk about measurements or no?
Sure, yeah, if that's what you want to go.
No, it's you. I'm asking you. Do you want to bring up measurements? You're the one that brings up measurements.
Yeah, like I haven't had any pictures to present, so I got nothing for that.
Yeah, you do have nothing. You said, well, we can see too far, and then you'd never showed me seeing too far. So you just said that we can and expected me to believe you. Is there a specific picture you would like me to address?
Specific? The Mount Canigou observation's kind of questionable.
What about the Mount Canigou?
What, twice a year, it's the day that it happens on, you're able to see this Mount Canigou from 200 some miles away, I believe.
So where is the observational point?
I don't have all the digits. I don't.
Okay, cool. So you just want to believe Whitsitt then?
No, I just know about this observation.
Did you get this observation from Whitsitt?
No.
No?
No.
Interesting. He's the only one that talks about it. So those Canigou Mountains is fine. I have never actually seen the measurements. No one can tell me where it's at. And when you look at all of the photos, they're heavily refracted photos.
Well,
and another thing is we don't see the entirety of the Canigou Mountains. We see just the tips. If you take the actual mountain taken from closer up where you can see the whole mountain, there's it's mostly covered. You only see the little tips there in those photos. So it is mostly covered. And so the refraction only needs to account for a little bit to just see the tops of the mountains, because you are not seeing all of the Canigou Mountains there. You are seeing just the peaks. If it were flat, you could see the entire thing.
Yep, not a chance. But you could try to claim the refraction, and these are silhouettes.
Silhouettes are still light. Yeah. Everything that enters a camera is light.
But
it is still light. A silhouette is still affected by light. Do you think that you can't see a silhouette in a mirror? Mirrors only reflect light. Does that mean no silhouettes show up in a mirror?
I don't know. I had to check that out.
Silhouettes are still light.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Like I said, I'm going to have to check that out. I never thought about trying to put a silhouette in a mirror. That'd be interesting.
Yeah, super easy. Just an easy way to do it is turn off the lights in your bathroom, stand in front of the mirror, turn on the lights in the doorway behind you, see that you have a silhouette. You're not lit up, but your silhouette still shows up in the mirror.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out.
Okay, awesome.
For sure. Yeah, and my thing is the silhouette, the refraction. I don't see how that excuses the observation.
So again, the refraction only needs to be a little bit because of that observation of the Canigou Mountains. We're only seeing the tips. We're not seeing the entire mountain. In fact, you can take pictures of the entire mountain and overlay it on that picture and line up the peaks and see that most of that mountain is below the horizon.
The horizon?
Yes. That Canigou observation has a horizon.
I'm not sure how would the horizon would be where Mount Canigou would be at.
It's not. It's in front of Mount Canigou. Mount Canigou is behind the horizon quite a bit. That's why the mountains are being obstructed by Mount Canigou. Or, sorry, by Mount Canigou is being obstructed by the horizon. That's why most of the mountain is missing in that observation.
Yeah, I'll have to get more details on it.
Yes, because just repeating what you saw Witsit say isn't going to be enough if you're going to come up here and talk.
Yeah, I mean, Witsit's doing good. I'm not sure why.
He's really not.
Try to give
He's
all
really
the credit
not.
to him.
The reason is because Witsit's the only one that I've seen bring up the Canigou Mountains, and Witsit is the only one that has ever tried to say a silhouette is not affected by refraction.
Yeah, sure, he's the only one that's been on the platform that said it.
Do you know that Witsit won't debate me?
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want me to try to get that set up?
Be my guest. I have messaged him on TikTok, and he will not debate
me. Yeah, I don't think he's very active on TikTok.
No, sorry, not TikTok, on X. It's not that he didn't respond, it's that he said no.
Did he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think I can change his opinion.
And specifically, I want to debate him on the moon landing.
Do you?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, what platform did you mention to him to do this on?
X.
Do it on X, yeah.
Oh, do the actual debate?
Yeah, do the
debate. I am willing to do whatever platform he is comfortable with. I'll do it on Modern Day Debates. I'll do it on Jeranism. I'll do it on... what is the one that he just did it on with Dave? The Quartering?
Oh, the quartering.
I would prefer to do it here on TikTok because that's where my platform is. And if I'm going to debate TikTok or debate Witsit, I want it to help grow my platform.
For sure.
But yeah, so I have offered a debate with him, and he has turned me down. And it was specifically on the moon landing, because that's for him. I would be able to address more of his points on the moon landing.
Do you think so?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so yeah, you do believe that happened.
It's up there.
Interesting. Oh yeah, my bad.
That's okay. I've talked to Whitsitt about the moon landing, and he brought up some super secret government declassified document that shows that they absolutely could have faked the moon landing at the time. And then he shows me a document about the traveling mat, which has been known since like 1910 is when it was first introduced into filmmaking. And then he ignored my points on sodium vapor. So
Yeah, I suppose everybody's got their different arguments.
yeah, I would like to talk to him about the moon landing. I know, so Whitsitt likes to word salad science things.
Come on.
Mhm. Yep. Oh, ooh. You want to see what I made? It's art time. You're up here, and we're talking about Whitsitt and the word salad. I want to start doing stickers because
I hope you
I'm
order
artsy.
some salad dressing when he gets that out.
Yeah. So my stickers that I made, I started making. This is the one I just did.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, it's because he likes to say really big words that a lot of people don't understand. But if you slow it down and actually break down the words that he is saying, they don't mean anything. Like kinematic equivalence, that means nothing. In fact, it disproves the flat Earth because there is not a kinematic equivalence on the flat Earth. There is, however, a kinematic equivalence on the geocentric and the heliocentric models. Both are globe models. But he doesn't talk about that. But the kinematic.
Hold on. This geocentric and globe, where did that come from?
The geocentric model, the model that he's. Yeah,
Globe.
so geocentric, globe. Geocentric is a globe model. Flat
No,
Earth is not a
it's
geocentric model.
How is it not?
Because
Since
the people that came up with the term geocentric, it was a globe in the center of everything. That's what the geocentric model was. And so when you're talking, when you talk about the kinematic equivalence that he's talking about with Kepler's laws, those are based off of the geocentric model being a globe in the center. There is no way that the kinematic equivalence doesn't work on a flat Earth. The kinematic equivalence only works if it is geocentric spherical. There's no kinematic equivalence on a flat Earth.
Yeah, this kind of makes me giggle because this is a new argument that's been brought in.
It's not a new argument. It
is. Oh, absolutely.
Everyone that reacts to Whitsitt's word salad, every time he brings up kinematic equivalence, that's what they say. In fact, the only reason that they haven't is because he's been debating people that aren't into this stuff. Like he went and debated the one on Alex Jones's thing. Like he's not going to know what kinematic equivalence is. That's why it's word salad. Is because he says something really, really fast. He talks about kinematic equivalence and then just kind of keeps going so no one actually checks him on kinematic equivalence. Kinematic equivalence really isn't a thing. He's talking about how when you look at the solar system, you can either put the Earth in the center or the Sun in the center, and they both will do this. It will look the same, at least from our observational points. That's what he means by kinematic equivalence. However, kinematic equivalence doesn't exist. He's called it that, and he saw it someone say that there is a kinematic equivalence to these things and applied that to this term. Kinematics is just the study of how things move. And when you say that there is a kinematic equivalence, it means that things move in the same way. But he's made it mean that there is an equivalency between the flat Earth and the solar system. There's not. It is geocentric spherical only that those are equivalent.
See, this is a new argument. Like
It's
I said,
not a new argument.
it is. Dude, I come across the flat Earth 8 years ago. This isn't anything new for me. Nobody's argued a globe geocentric.
Everyone does. If you Google geocentric, you will get spherical. In fact, let's do it right now. Google geo.
That's a Google search.
Okay, what would you like me to use instead?
Going and talking to people who actually believe this.
Okay, so people that actually believe it don't know what geocentric means. When the people that made...
Why do you say that? How do you say that?
Because the philosophers that came up with the geocentric model thousands of years ago, this is the model that they came up with, the globe in the center with the planets around it. That's what they came up with and called up. No, that is historical.
That's a claim
that is
you're
historical.
making. This globe is new. Like, this wasn't in the history.
Nope. We have evidence of people believing in the globe since like 300 BCE.
Eratosthenes
or Aristotle.
Sure, whatever you want to say.
Well, those are two different people. I was correcting you on how to say it because Eratosthenes. It's Eratosthenes.
Eratosthenes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He knew it was a globe. What he did was measured the R value. He wasn't trying to prove that it was a globe. It was accepted that it was a globe.
But his quote-unquote observation experiment can be replicated on both a flat Earth.
Not if you use 3 observational points.
Right, but I said his observation.
Yes, absolutely. His could. That's why it's not a proof of curvature. It is only to measure the R value. That's why he wasn't trying to prove that it was a globe. He was trying to measure the R value of the Earth. He was trying to measure how big it was. He already knew that it was a globe, and so he could, quote-unquote, assume. He could assume the globe and measure the R value. That's where the radius comes from. Now, today, if we want to make the same observation, in order for it to be valid, we have to use 3 observational points. In fact, I will only reference data to the Eratosthenes experiment that has 3 or more observational points.
Right, yeah. I'm not sure why everybody tries to jump to Eratosthenes when...
Eratosthenes could just not exist, but the experiment is still valid, as long as there are 3 observational points.
Right, but it does not prove his observation 350 BC with 2 observations, 2 points.
No, it doesn't prove that the Earth is a globe. He didn't try to prove the Earth was a globe. He wanted to measure the R value.
A lot of the times, individuals bring up Eratosthenes because they claim it proves the Earth's a curved ball.
Okay, I don't do that.
And it doesn't.
I don't do that. I know that. I know that Eratosthenes didn't prove that the Earth was a globe because you could just say, well, the sun is local. And if you listen, my previous guy asked why I knew it was a globe. I took him through the observations. And it wasn't to prove that it was a globe. Other things do that. The Eratosthenes experiment only measured the radius of the Earth. And that is with the assumption that it was an Earth. And so it was a globe. It didn't measure
a radius?
It measured the radius, yes.
How did it get to the center?
It didn't. You don't have to touch a thing to measure it.
So it wasn't measured. Absolutely.
Nope. Do you know what the do you know what the Pythagorean theorem is? Sorry, you're right. He calculated the R value of the Earth. You're right. He didn't physically take a tape measure and measure it. He calculated it. Sorry, calculated.
Yep, we're good there.
I apologize. Yeah. I used the wrong word. You made a semantics argument.
All right. Yeah, words are important.
I mean, it's the same thing. It's semantics. It is the same outcome.
Nobody's ever measured to the center of this earth.
Correct.
It's not the same thing. There's calculations and there's physically measuring it.
Both get the same outcome. Yeah, you're just arguing semantics.
Could have the same outcome.
Should I pull out the fallacies that What's It likes to say?
What you got?
So this is a what is it called? We're using the, let's see, what is it called? See, I don't memorize fallacies like What's It does, because I rely on actual arguments and not word salad and then calling fallacies on everyone. It's a fallacy where you confuse the word with another one.
Confuse a word with another one?
Yeah, I can't remember the name of the fallacy. But yeah, so that was a semantics argument. It's the same thing. It's done in different ways, and yes, technically he didn't measure it, he calculated it, but it's still a semantics argument.
Okay. I'll let you have it. But yeah, I hear a lot of people arguing Eratosthenes. Oh, yep, that proved we lived on the ball.
In fact, I will even accept, yeah, maybe he didn't even exist. People around that time thought he did. He could just not exist, but the actual style of experiment is still valid.
But it doesn't prove anything.
When you use three or more observers, it does prove.
Yeah, 3 or more. I'm specifically talking about Eratosthenes.
And I specifically said that doesn't matter. He could just not exist. We can throw out that entire thing entirely.
Okay, then that is when everybody started believing in the globe.
No, it's not. Because he didn't try to prove the globe. He already knew it was a globe. That means that they knew it was a globe before his time. He wasn't trying to prove the globe.
Okay, what do I have to look into?
History.
What history? Because I know about what was it, the 15th, 16th century.
Let's see. The earliest document mention of the concept dates from around 5th century BCE, when it appears in Greek philosophers.
Greek philosophers?
Mm-hmm.
And I suppose these Greek philosophers are the same ones in the 15th, 16th century.
Do you know what the 15th and 16th century is as opposed to the 5th century BCE?
Yeah, that's what, 2,000 years?
Yeah, they're not the same philosophers.
Right, no, I'm just in category. My bad, I wasn't trying to say they're the same people.
Words are important.
Category. Absolutely.
So what do you mean by the same category?
Greek. Because I cannot think...
These are Greek, and they didn't have... The 15th and 16th centuries philosophers were not Greek.
Because what is it? Copernican principle?
Let's see. Copernicus was German and Polish. Copernicus was German.
Copernicus? That's the Copernican principle? That's
yep.
who...
Copernicus came up with the Copernican principle.
Gotcha.
Yep, he was German, not Greek.
Yeah, have you looked into what he wrote about, talked about?
Not really, no.
No. What gets me is the Copernican principle, that in general.
States that humans on Earth and the solar system are not privileged observers of the universe. Oh yeah, it just means that we're not the center. That
right.
The Earth. Yeah, so this is kind of what I was talking about. This is in reference to the geocentric model, saying that the Earth was the center of everything. The geocentric model. His Copernican principle is that we are not the center.
And it cannot be disproven that we are.
If you look at the shapes that the planets make in the sky, you know, the ones that Witsit likes to say are magnetic, which is a lie.
No, I'm talking about the Copernican principle.
What do you mean?
He states that even though we cannot disprove that we are the center, we cannot accept we are the center.
Okay,
We
well,
will
we have
never
proof.
accept
We
that.
can prove it now.
Still looking for it.
Still looking. Who's looking for what?
Looking that we aren't the center.
No, we can prove. We've proven it. So what he's talking about is the solar system only. That Copernican principle states that humans on the Earth or in the solar system are not privileged observers of the universe. So solar system. We have proven that within the galaxy and within our universe, we are not the center. That is proven.
Based on what proved that?
Based off of our observations of the greater universe outside of our local clusters. We've seen the Milky Way, we've mapped it out, and we see that we're all rotating around a center point inside of the Milky Way galaxy. We see other galaxies that are moving every which way in relation to us. Some are moving away, some are moving sideways, some are moving towards us. We are not the center.
Doesn't this get into the axis of evil?
No, I have no idea what you're talking about.
No. Yeah, everything.
I don't know what that is.
Everything, something in our observations out there in the stars, things line up, and there's an axis of. They decided to call it the axis of evil.
Yeah, I have no idea what you're talking about.
It has to do with a heliocentric model. Like, yeah, I don't believe their conclusion.
That's dealing with the cosmic background radiation. I'd have to look into this. I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
I mean, I know what the CMBR is, but I don't know what the axis of evil. Apparent correlation between the plane of the solar system and aspects of the cosmic background radiation. It gives the plane of the solar system and hence the location of the Earth a greater significance than might be expected by chance. Oh, interesting. That probably goes back to the fact that anytime we observe the CMBR, we're in the center.
Maybe.
Which, I mean, is to be expected. When you're out in the middle of the ocean, you look like you're in the center because everywhere around you is equally far away. If you can't see any land or anything, it just looks like you're in the center. This is the same thing with the CMBR. Which the measurements of the CMBR itself disproves the flat Earth because the CMBR is a sphere around us. And it wouldn't be spherical around us if the Earth was flat.
Hold on, the CMB is spherical?
Yeah.
That's the first time I've heard that one.
What do you think it means when we see it, when we look at the CMBR and we're in the center? If we're in the center, it's a sphere.
Yeah, I've never heard somebody argue spherical with CMB.
That's just a fact of the CMBR.
Yeah, like I said, I've never heard somebody say that before with it.
I mean, when you look up photos, it's all spherical.
Are they?
Yeah, I mean, you get the one that's oval shape, which is a mapped out version of it. But when you look at three-dimensional things, in fact, here is a great picture. I love this. We're going to throw this one up. Not like physically, I'm going to put it up on screen.
For sure.
I wouldn't like, that'd be gross. Okay, so screenshot. Pull up this. Add in my image.
Yeah, you're doing this on your computer, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
The TikTok Live, yeah. Is it
Okay.
pretty simple to do?
So, no, it's not. So,
Okay.
the way that I have it set is I have OBS up, And OBS is making a virtual camera that my TikTok Studio, because TikTok Studio is not very good, and I can't have things like this up if I have you in the box. If I have you in the box, I can only show me. So I use a virtual camera that has all this stuff in it that is controlled through OBS. And OBS is the typical streaming one that everyone else uses except for TikTok. So you see up above me, there's the two maps. So you see the globe and then the flat, and then this here is the cosmic background radiation and the mapped out. So it's spherical. We just look at it like this.
No.
That way we can see more of it. And this absolutely is how we measure it.
We measure it flat.
No, we measure it spherical. We measure it spherical, and then we do it like this, because this, so see how the Earth up there, we can only see part of the Earth up at the top, but for the map, when we put it in that oval, we can see all of it. It's kind of distorted. In fact, this map that map right there, that's one of my favorite maps because it has the least amount of distortion. And so they're doing the same thing here with the CMBR. They're doing it like this so you can see the whole thing with the least amount of distortion.
All right. And what measurements are they doing out there?
They're measuring the background radiation. So they have sensors that can measure radiation, and they're seeing the background. That's why it's called background radiation. So when it's coming in, it kind of just looks like noise, but it maps out to the CMBR, the cosmic background radiation.
All right, it seems like it's something I'd have to do a little bit more research into. Takes a little bit of understanding.
It's worth it. It's pretty cool, and it's cool why we see ourselves as the center, because everywhere we look, we're looking at the maximum amount that we can see. And so it looks like it's a sphere around us just because we can't see any further physically. It's like, again, like I said, if you're in the middle of the ocean and you can't see anything, like any land or anything, looks like you're in the center.
Yeah, doesn't this have to do with the azimuthal grid of vision?
No.
No?
No, the azimuthal grid of vision is something that Witsit made up and is stupid.
Witsit made? Why was this on? It was on a website.
Yeah, it's on a website that was stolen from Walter Bislin. Walter Bislin made it to make fun of flat earthers, and a flat earther went and stole the data and made his own site, and now Witsit uses it. In fact, if you go to the original website made by Walter Bislin, it even calls out Witsit by name.
Did it?
Yep.
That's funny. Everybody's so angry with Witsit.
He's just been in the middle of things because he's taking Will Duffy through the ringer and not actually committing to go to Antarctica.
You want to talk about that experiment?
Yeah, I mean, I'm down. Let's see, what does it say? Control F. Wit. Okay, so I am on the Walter Bislin one that has the azimuthal grid thing. And it says specifically, this model requires that light bends different depending on the observer's location. There is no known physics that explains how this could happen. How does your azimuthal grid of vision know the location of the observer so it knows how to bend light as required for the personal observation? What's it? That's a specific question to Witsit that he won't answer. And he's stopped using this site because they stole the site from him and made it their own, so it didn't call them out specifically. But it was made by Walter Bislin to make fun of flat earthers, to show, look how impossible your model has to be in order to work.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yep. And so the website that you're talking about is the direct plagiarization of Walter Bislin's model. In fact, they used to use Walter Bislin's directly, but then they stopped.
Oh yeah, I know a lot of people who got their hands on that one.
Yeah, and so in order for this one to work, light will have to bend differently depending on where you're at.
Yeah, I heard that was a conversation, light having to bend this direction, that direction.
Yep, and so in order to invoke the azimuthal grid of view, you have to invoke magical bendy light that doesn't work anywhere but magical flatland.
All right. So yeah, this experiment observation, whatever they want to call it, down there in Antarctica.
It's an experiment. They have all of the necessary things for an experiment.
Yeah, I would say some eyeballs. I think that's an experiment in itself.
That's what I think. I don't. There was a lot of people saying, well, it's not actually an experiment; it's an observation. But then someone went and made all the parameters and typed it out all nice to make it look like an actual experiment that you would expect in like a science class in high school.
Yeah.
But yeah, so what are your thoughts on the Antarctica trip?
I kind of have doubts that a 24-hour sun is going to be observed.
Okay. So would you be willing to stake your being a flat earther on the fact that a 24-hour sun does or does not appear?
If a 24-hour sun shows in Antarctica, I've got a lot of questions.
Okay. Well, I can do you one better. If a 24-hour sun does not show up in Antarctica, and it not due to like clouds covering it, but like actually they observe it set
Right.
and then come back up, I will become a flat earther. And I will make exclusively flat earth content.
There you go. Yeah, like I'm curious about the observation. I think it's going to be a fun trip for anybody who wants to go down there.
I wish I could go down there. If I didn't already have a trip planned for the same time, I'm going to Australia that time, I would be going down there.
Awesome. I'm hoping to get to Australia in 2026.
Nice. You can disprove the flat earth while you're down there.
Yeah, or I could prove more of it.
Well, I mean, the fact that stars travel around a central point in the south disproves the flat earth.
Yeah, I'd have to make those observations on myself.
But would you agree if the stars do travel around a singular point, that's a problem for the flat earth?
I can't say problem. I would say definitely have some answers to be had.
Why are you so wishy-washy on it? I just said that if we see, or if we don't see a 24-hour sun, I will become a flat earther.
Yeah, like the sun is the sun. Like that to me, the sun's closer. It's local. Like the stars are out of our reach.
Right, but no, there's no way on a flat earth to see a 24-hour sun.
Agreed.
Ah, yeah. So you agree that if they see a 24-hour sun, the earth is not flat.
Yeah, no.
That way, but you just agreed that it's impossible to have a 24-hour sun on a flat earth.
I would say in the model of the flat earth today, yes.
Oh, so when you agreed before, you didn't actually mean it, and when you were pressed on it, you would not change your mind in the face of evidence.
I can't change like the physical measurements that are all around us. I cannot deny that it seems like we live on a level plane.
But you didn't give me any measurements.
Plane surveying, like it's how everything's built today, like bridges, roads.
With the curve in mind. Yeah, absolutely. I agree. Yep.
It's not.
Yep. They do. I mean, in fact, long suspension bridges are built with their things angled out, because of the curve. This is built into their
Because
plans.
of tension.
No, they do it even without. That's why I said suspension bridges, but then I changed. Yes, I agree that suspension bridges do have to angle out. Other bridges that are not suspension bridges angle out as well. Even ones with multiple segments. You have one segment, they're angled out. You have another segment, they're angled out.
I'm not sure how you gallop right past plane surveying is how things are
Oh,
built.
so you want to play semantics on the word plane again, right? So plane surveying only
How
works.
is that semantics?
Yeah, because you said plane. That means it's a plane. So plane surveying only works.
Plane surveying
Right.
is how...
Plane surveying only works within a certain distance. Anything more
Okay.
than that, you have to actually start taking the geodetics. That's what geodetic surveying is. Does
Okay.
geodetic surveying exist?
Yes.
Wouldn't that be a problem for the
But
flat
that's
Earth?
not what's used to build things.
I mean, it is when they're big enough to be affected by the curve.
I have yet to come across anything that's used geodetic surveying in their building.
Do you know who Baron is here on TikTok?
Yeah, I know Baron.
Mm-hmm. So
What's that
he's
supposed to do?
he's a surveyor. He does that for a living.
Yeah, what surveying?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Think
Yeah,
that'd be
so
kind of
he's a surveyor that has actually measured curvature with his devices.
Yeah, I can't agree with that.
So nuh-uh.
With Baron and
Mhm.
what he's done, I don't have any of the information that I can't get behind it.
Okay.
I wasn't there for it. I wasn't talking to him. I've got no information on anything that he's done.
Okay. So it doesn't matter if measurements of curvature actually exist. If you weren't the one measuring it, it doesn't matter. Because lots of
Well-
measurements of curvature exist. You just weren't there, therefore it's flat,
He's-
right? Because you said there's no measurement of curvature, yet when I tell you that people have measured curvature, you say, well, I wasn't there.
There's no curvature measured in plane surveying.
That's because plane surveying is only a small area that they don't have to take that into account. There is, yeah, you're right. There is no curvature measured with my ruler.
Plane surveying is a lot longer than 12-inch ruler.
How much?
100 square miles,
Yep, very small area.
10 mile by 10 mile.
Oh, yes, because they measure it in 10-mile increments. Very small area.
Okay, and these are all quote unquote butted up next to each other.
Mhm.
You got this 100 square miles, this 100 square miles.
When
Yeah.
you start butting those up together, they don't do that. That's when they get into the geodetic survey.
But they do.
Let's see.
Like I've sat and listened
let's see
to
it.
testimony from surveyors.
I've
that-
sat and listened to Baron, a surveyor. Why is your sitting and listening to testimonies better than mine sitting and listening to testimonies?
and I just have
But
individuals.
you
that
weren't
are
you
not
weren't
on-
there. You weren't there.
They
Same
are not
same
on
argument.
the-
Why
This
is
is
it
just
why is it that you
information
how come you
that
get to
these
pick and
people have
choose
put
what
out.
measurements you use, but if I try and pick and choose what measurements I use, I'm being deceitful.
I'm not
deceive-
picking and choosing
You are.
number. No, I didn't.
you have chosen to ignore Baron's measurements
I
and
didn't- I'm not
all other
ignoring.
measurements of curvature.
I didn't
You even
ignore
said that there
Baron.
is not even measurements of curvature. You didn't say that all measurements of curvature are fallacious. You said that there was not any. Saying that there is not any measurements is a truth claim.
Absolutely.
Correct. So, there is measurements of curvature. That means you need to now address those
Okay,
measurements.
I haven't found them in 8 years. I haven't found them yet.
Then why won't you go look at Barron's? Why won't you look at the ones on mctunes.net? There's measurements of curvature.
MC Tune, Baron, who else you got?
lots of people. I mean, there's the main surveyor on YouTube that also did it. No, I don't invoke FTFE's measurements because he didn't measure curvature. Blitz doesn't measure curvature. He's a physicist.
Right.
FTFE is it engineering that he does, but no measurements of curvature. I referenced the measurements of curvature.
Yeah, like I said, I haven't found them yet.
Okay, so there's several on MC2.net that were not done by him. They are just housed there as a repository.
Well, looks like anybody would have to look into the details of these numbers.
Go for it. You're the one that claimed that none of them exist. That's your claim. The fact that there are measurements of curvature that you have not looked into, yet you're still claiming that there is no measurements of curvature, that's a problem.
Because I deny somebody's numbers?
No, you didn't deny someone's numbers. You made a blanket statement that there are no measurements of curvature. However, there are measurements of curvature. You just don't believe them. Yet when I ask you about them, you don't know about them. So why is it that...
I can say the same thing to you. There's measurements of flat Earth,
Show me.
You deny them.
Show me.
Plane surveying.
That's not a measurement of flat Earth.
It's done on base assumptions that it's a flat Earth.
Not assumptions of a flat Earth. Understanding that under a certain amount, the curvature does not matter for what they're trying to do.
That's your excuse.
It's not my excuse. That's their excuse.
They're the ones who are making the excuse that there's no curvature?
No, they didn't. No. They know that the amount of curvature under that certain area is not enough to throw off their calculations. That's why they do them in small sections. When they go outside of these small sections, then it becomes geodetic surveying. They understand that they're two different things. When you are measuring a small area, like 100 miles, or even 10 miles butted up against each other to make 100, then the curvature of the Earth is minimal and does not much matter for what they're doing. Do you know what they measure when they're doing it? Like why they are doing what they're doing?
Building a 10-mile long bridge, curvature would be very important on the structure.
Yeah, there's 10-mile bridges that take curvature into account.
Where?
Lots of them.
You say lots of them. Where?
So why is it that whenever you make a claim, you don't have to substantiate it? I'm not going to substantiate any more claims until you do.
Okay. I guess I better get to work, huh?
You better do. Because, I mean, you came up here making the blanket statement that there are no measurements of curvature. Yet there are measurements of curvature, you just not on them.
I can have the same argument. There's measurements of flat.
And I have explained why they do it this way. You've said one thing that is a measurement of flat, and that is plane surveyors. And plane surveyors themselves recognize that they are measuring such a small area that the curvature of the Earth does not affect their measurements, because they're not measuring with that degree of precision. So now address geodetic surveying.
Yeah, they take into account the assumption of a radius.
Great. Address it.
What do you want me to address about it? They assume
it's a measurement of curvature. I addressed your measurement of flat. Now address my measurement of curvature.
They take in the assumption of the alleged radius of this Earth, and they calculate everything and line everything up, and there you go.
Line everything up like what?
all the plane surveying data.
So why would they make geodetic surveying? Why would they make that a thing? Is all geodetic surveyors lying?
I'm sure some of them are.
You know why when people say there's just too many people to be in on it, right? This is what we mean. Because you just said that now some geodetic surveyors are in on it. That is not a position that requires any...
No.
Listen. It's my turn. So you said this. You said, I'm sure some of them are. That's what you said. That means that there are some geodetic surveyors that are in on the lie. This is a position that does not require any amount of security clearance, and therefore no repercussions to saying plane surveying is all a lie. So now the lie just keeps growing and growing and growing and growing, and so many people have to be in on it. I've worked on rockets. I know people that would have had to be in on it. So why is it that... Did you just say no?
No. Like, everybody assumes that there's got to be hundreds.
You just said that some geodetic surveyors are in on it.
I did not say those words.
Yes, you did. I said, so geodetic surveyors are in on it. You said, I'm sure some of them are. Quote, I'm sure some of them are.
I'm sure some of them are lying.
So lying means that they're not in on it if they're lying? Why would they lie if they're not in on it? Wouldn't they're just lying to lie? Wouldn't they say, hey, look, your data's wrong? Like every other engineer loves proving other people wrong. That's why most of us debunkers are some sort of engineer or another. Because we love proving people wrong. You just said that they're lying to lie without even being in on it. So why are they lying?
Because they have a belief.
Yet these people that love proving people wrong aren't going to say, hey, wait a second, this math isn't adding up. This line isn't connecting.
Okay.
So why would
they care
why are people that have no skin in the game lie about their measurements?
I don't know. I'm not the one lying.
Do you have proof that they're lying?
Do you have proof that they're not? Like,
I mean, you're the one that's saying they're lying. That's a truth claim. Burden of proof falls on the truth claim.
Yeah, I'll go find a lie and I'll show you.
Great. Okay, so let's call that 1-to-1. You've presented a measurement of flat, which wasn't a thing. I presented a measurement of curvature that you just nod. So we're even. Do you have any other measurements of flat?
There's that bridge in China. I do not know the name of it right now.
So no. Okay. That's not a measurement.
No, like I said, I do not have the name.
So you had a single measurement of flat that is easily addressed by saying that they know that their measurements are too small to matter. That's why they're only measuring in 10-mile increments up to 100 miles. After that, they have to go on to use geodetic surveying. So that is a singular time that flatness might have been measured, but they're just not that precise, because to measure curvature over 10 miles would be hard.
Why would that not be accounted for? Then simply just 10
because
miles.
The devices that they're using, it's easier to not account for it, and it doesn't throw off their measurements. However, when they do this, so plane surveying, because this is a problem, I saw a video recently, I don't know if I saved it or not. It was showing how roads, they would line up, and then one of the roads would be off, and they'd have to do a little path to make it line up again. And then they'd line up, and then one would be off, and then have to adjust. This is adjusting for the fact that plane surveyors do not take the curve of the Earth into account when surveying. These roads were based off of plane surveyors. And you could see those roads physically not lining up. So either those plane surveyors that were across an entire country all did their plane surveying wrong, or so there's either they did their plane surveying wrong, or they're lying about it to make it seem like they have to account for the fact that their plane surveying is off by a little bit.
Yeah, you found this video on TikTok or YouTube?
Oh yeah. So it was I can't remember exactly where it was, but someone went through and looked at all of there's a name for it where they have to adjust the road slightly to get them to line up because the plane surveying is off just a little bit because the Earth is a globe.
Was it a highway here in the?
No, it wasn't a highway. They were roads. They were just roads.
Yeah. Just like back small state highways and stuff.
Yeah, done because plane surveying was off. See,
huh? And
let's see if I've got it saved.
Okay.
Dang it, I'm not seeing it. No, that's not it. Oh. Yeah, so it's called grid correction. So this video, this isn't the one I saw, but this video here shows the grid corrections, and it shows lots of them. These grid corrections, either the plane surveyors were doing something wrong across thousands of miles, they were all doing something wrong, or these are little corrections because they're grid corrections because the Earth is a globe.
All right, that was grid correction or grid corrections?
Both will bring it up, I'm sure.
Okay. And yeah, that's here on TikTok?
Yeah, so I just looked up road correction.
Okay.
And there's, road adjustments. And there's several different, or there's other videos that aren't that. Let's see if I can find the exact video. Can I look up videos I've seen, watched? No, that's not helpful. There's the video. Okay, so these dogleg roads are used every 24 miles as grid corrections to account for the curvature of Earth. And then it is a video showing all of the different grid corrections that are needed because plane surveying does not line up. So either all of these plane surveyors were wrong and did their job incorrectly, or it's the fall off because it's a globe and they're not accounting for that. Saving this video. And if you would like, after we get done here, I can send you this exact video.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Okay, I can do that.
Much appreciated.
Which it is almost 1 o'clock here, and I can hear baby crying in the other room. So I'm going to go and give my wife a break so she can sleep. So I am going to sign off here. Thank you for coming up.
Yeah, appreciate the conversation. You have
Absolutely.
a good one, man.
Hey, thanks. You too. Okay, and thank you all that joined. We ended up with 13,000 likes. Thank you. I stopped watching after we got up there. Thank you so much for everyone that joined. I'm sorry for those of you I saw in the guest box. I said several times that this was the last person, and then we kept going. In fact, this last one, I said last person, and then he was on for an hour. So I appreciate everyone that stayed on. I think we peaked at about 80 viewers, and I appreciate the 13,000 likes. That does help get the video pushed out to the algorithm. Thank you so much for everyone that stayed on, and everyone that is watching on YouTube. I appreciate you being patient with my first live stream here. If you did enjoy this, go ahead and leave a comment down below and let me know so I can know to do this more often or less often if you didn't like it. All right, thank you everyone, and remember, flat Earth is fleeting, but the internet is forever.